All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mississippi Wrestling Network. I'm once again joined by my dear friend Joe Deere. How we doing today, Joe?
Man, you already know, man. Just ready to talk about my favorite sport, my favorite person.
Yeah, man. So we just wrapped up with the state tournament, state individual tournament.
Yeah.
Got a lot to talk about. And so today, this one right here, this video, we're gonna give you our girls state finals reactions, right? So hey, I'll tell you what, that atmosphere was electric. To start off, before we say anything, hey, kudos to the parents, the fans, and the stands. You made that place jumping, and man, I loved it. I loved it. The energy was there. Like that is right there is the example of like how it should be when you're having those state finals matches.
I mean, 100%, dude. Those bleachers were full. There was an entire extra section that was packed with all the wrestlers that competed. And hey, you could feel the vibrations of the sound when things were getting a little hectic, things were getting crazy. And it was actually a really great environment. And it's amazing to see how quickly the fan base has grown. I mean, we quite literally outgrew St. Andrews in a matter of like 3 years.
Oh yeah.
From the first time we was hosted at St. Andrews till, this weekend. I mean, it's amazing. Like, this is a great problem to have, and it's very exciting. And like I said, you felt every exciting moment just through the crowd, especially when they were getting into those matches.
Well, that and one of the things that is kind of underestimated when it comes to certain to the fan base in general is the knowledge of the fan base.
Mhm.
Like the fans were educated, like they knew when something was happening, right? And like they called three, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But like they were, you could hear a lot of sideline coaching, but but they all were into it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? They all were sitting there, really, understanding what was happening in the match, and that right there, helps a lot too.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I think simply put, this year we're seeing like the people of Mississippi just kind of fall in love with this sport. I love how wrestling will enter the scene as like what the heck is this? Like we'll give it a shot. Like maybe it could be cool. I'm just here because my kid's in it too.
Yeah.
People are bought in and dare I say obsessed with the sport now, which is so cool. Especially, like I said, as the sport that I grew up with, and that's the way I look at the sport. Now we're starting to see that. Well, starting to. I use that very loosely, but the salience of that passion was very much felt.
Well, man, to give you a metaphor for that, I always say this about like MMA when people are
Yeah,
talking about MMA, it's like, all right, you can take someone who doesn't know anything about soccer, and it's like, okay, put on a game. All right, what's happening? They can't tell you. They don't
yeah,
know, right? Boom, you put on a boxing match. Who's winning? They know, right? Like we understand as humans, we understand instinctively combat sports.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? We know what's happening in wrestling, right?
mhm,
It's like, okay, who's winning? Well, the one that's slamming that
yeah,
one,
right,
the one that's on top, holding them down,
yeah.
right? That's the one that's winning.
I'm sure plenty of coaches out there or anyone can relate to. I've been talking to a few administrators that stop by wrestling meets and like, I had no idea what was going on, but I saw that student get lifted up over that boy's head and brought back down. Like, I understood that. Like,
Exactly right. It's in our DNA. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like we understand it. It's like we don't need a lot of education. It's like just show them something exciting, and
hmm
you'll get them hooked. Especially when it's personal, right? It's
hmm
like, oh well, why are you here today? Well, that's my son. It's like,
yeah,
okay, well now you're gonna feel a lot different when he's getting slammed versus when he's doing the slamming, right?
hmm
And it's pulling those emotions out of you, and now you get attached, right? You get hooked from being there, and having something personalized to you.
and that's where things get electric. And I tell you what, this was a yet again another electric state finals year. A lot of good matchups, great intense wrestling, and like I said, there's a couple matches where the crowds are really getting into it and got really excited. I know I got excited for a lot of those matches, and we're gonna dive into them today. And like Tim said, we're gonna start with the girls, and we're gonna start from the lightest and just go up to the top, and we're just gonna chat a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Right here, we started at 100 pounds. We had Adriana Green from St. Martin facing Anna Grace Perez of Oxford. Um, I'll start. Hey, I think from the matches that I've saw Adriana Green in throughout the day, like throughout both days, it was kind of copy and paste of like what was going to happen,
mm,
right? Like she was kind of in cruise control, And that finals match, I mean, I think that was, by far the best match that that she had through the whole tournament. And Anna Grace Perez, who I thought wrestled a heck of a tournament, herself. And once it became evident that these two were going to be in the finals, I I'm not gonna lie, I kind of expected it to go that way, but not in that way, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
Anna Grace Perez, like really stepped her game up and gave Adriana Green a really tough match.
Yeah, I mean, she Green's first match fall 11 seconds, fall a minute 22 seconds. The finals match was fall at 3:52. So I mean, it was going okay until it didn't. You
Right,
know what I mean?
right, and everybody knows that I don't keep it a secret. I'm a huge fan of the Green Girls,
Hmm.
and they're just they are dedicated, especially Adriana, right?
Yeah,
Like I was talking to their father this weekend, and Adriana Green is bought all in on wrestling, right?
yeah,
And they put in the work, man. They put in the work, and they're already so far ahead. It's like that's why it's just impressive, for some of these in-state girls who've only been doing it a year or two to give them a match like
yeah.
that.
No, and yeah, hey, I've been singing those praises right with you, man. Like, and especially watching her throughout the day. Like the Green Girls are the ones who I always keep an eye out for because they're very technical, aggressive. It's very like it's orthodox wrestling almost, and I'm also seeing a little of them use some different techniques that take advantage of their long arms and whatnot, and they're very athletic. So we knew going like I mean going into that match against the Green Girl, it's gonna be a tough match, and I can see, obviously it's an Oxford girl, so I can say what we really tried to work on was just maintaining disciplined position, being patient, not rushing into things, and also like bringing them to your pace. And so I think AG did a fantastic job doing exactly that. She didn't bull rush into anything. She slowed the pace down because I think what Green's advantage is she comes at you, she puts those hands on you, and she gets in that driver's seat and starts
Right.
going. And so Anna Grace was kind of fighting over control of that driver's seat during that, especially in that first period.
Yes. Yeah.
And Green was doing a great job on top, but AG was doing a good job not getting turned and good job fighting and trying to set herself up for opportunity. But again, Green was fantastic on top, and she was definitely working for things. And I like what she did. We're fighting the edge too, which I think is a pretty solid strategy depending on what you're going for. And Anna Grace was doing a good job wrestling on the edge. And then Green just picked her up. Anna Grace kind of positioned herself in a way that wasn't very advantageous, and we ended up on our back. And Green capitalized that moment, got the pin. Congratulations. And but it's promising, and this is a theme throughout this conversation that girls wrestling is looking much better than years prior. It's looking more legitimate. It's looking as similar to what we'd see on like a national level. That I coach girls, I'm getting a lot more into girls wrestling. So I watched like the Iowa State tournament, and it's starting to look very much like. And we wrestled a lot of Tennessee girls, so I follow the Tennessee tournament as well. Like we don't look all that much different,
Right.
and so that's really cool. And I know, no one likes getting second place, but I mean, I know AG is young. Adriana's in ninth grade, so I mean, we're going to see plenty more of them, and it's going to be very exciting to see.
Yeah, and one thing that I would say, for all the athletes out there, um, is hey, first off, tomorrow's going to come regardless of of the result, But at the end of the day, it's like, man, that when you go out there and you put two of the best against each other, well, somebody's going to get the silver medal. That doesn't
Yeah,
mean anybody sucks, right?
right.
Like that, it doesn't take away from who you are and what you accomplish. But it's like that's just the nature of the beast
Hmm.
when you're going best on best. Somebody's going to get that silver medal,
Yeah,
and it is what it is. But hey, like I said, tomorrow's going to come. So hey, give yourself 24 hours. You can feel mad, sad, whatever you need to feel, and then hey, but let's go, right? Keep moving.
yeah. I tell you, and listen, I know getting second's not fun, but it's so easy to forget all the success that led up to that second
That's right.
place. You didn't end up in the state finals by accident, but I know it's easy to forget all about that when you kind of your hopes get dashed.
Yeah.
And so I hope that with some time and reflection, hey, you still got time. Hey, that's what off-season training's for.
Well, I mean, like, what are you gonna do with it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean that's the bigger question, right?
yeah. I mean that. I mean, for me, I think failure. It's a part of life. It's gonna happen to everybody, and it's like, hey, if you get to where like that's use that as fuel instead of anesthetic. You know, like don't go down because
Yeah,
of it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like okay, hey, like now they really doubt me.
yeah,
So now I really got something to prove, right? It's like what happened. It's like, hey, whether you just truly got beat, you got caught,
yeah.
but it's like, hey, keep that to yourself and use that in a proper manner and get better.
Mhm.
Get better. If you're mad about it now, then hey, go do something about it. That's all I can tell you on that.
Right, and I tell you what, I mean, like I said, Green, we've known her for we've been watching her for years now. We've known what to expect. Anna Grace just came on the scene last year. She's grown tremendously in that time. She's definitely evolved her game, and you can see some changes in her style. I mean, and you clearly saw that in the semifinals. I mean, she ran up pretty to a really tough girl from D'Iberville, um, Trin, and it was a kind of a shooting gallery for the first couple periods. I mean, AG was doing some good job getting to her offense and takedowns, and obviously there's a lot of scrambling involved, and one person would end up on top, this person would get back points, and it just, AG ended up being the better scrambler. I think she picked bottom, and I think she was up by 2 points, and she made something happen, got a big pin in dramatic fashion, and it was one of those things where it's like, I think, and I hope that was, and this is kind of what I'm talking about, where it's like with that second place, you forget that you beat this really quality opponent,
Right,
you
right.
know what I mean, to get to the finals, and then and also, and I think this applies to all wrestlers, especially the teams in the state that travel. You kind of get lost in the opponent that's in front of you, but it's like, don't you remember the out of state kid you beat? Like, I know whether it's in Alabama or Louisiana or Tennessee, it's like, I think most of the top teams in both girls and boys, most of them travel, most of them, or they go to a tournament where there's an out of state team and they've come face to face with a kid of good quality and good caliber, and they'll either be very competitive or they'll win, and then they're acting scared about some other kid. And it's
Yeah,
like you've already beaten quality opponents, like you have it in you to do it. And so I mean, but wrestling is such a mental game as well as physical, man, and it's tough.
yeah,
But that's a completely separate tangent, though. Okay, we
yeah,
don't need to get lost into that right now. Point is, 100 was good. I mean, those semifinal matches were tough. I mean, Green, I think, kind of controlled her side of the bracket, and then AG had that tough test against Trent, who did wrestle back and get third, to her credit. And then I think if she just commits more time to this sport, I mean, I think next year could look a lot differently. I mean, like I said, she proved that she can hang with the best for a hot minute. And Green, hey, you're still looking fantastic. So good luck, congratulations, and can't wait to see what next year holds.
that's right. All right, that'll get us to the next one. 107. We had Mackenzie Rocco of St. Martin and Ashley Broden of Ocean Springs, with Ashley Broden as your 107-pound state champion.
Yeah, I tell you what I like about Broughton is, as someone who has long arms and long legs, like I utilize that in all my wrestling. I love cradles. I love tying people up with my arms, and um, it's hard to score on me because I have these really long legs, and I can cut corners pretty easy. And so I see that in wrestlers like Broughton, where she's pretty tall for the 107 weight class, and she utilizes it. I mean, she has really good cradles. She has a really good three quarters Nelson, and she's hard to finish on because that's a lot of body that's sprawling on you.
Yeah,
And so she has some good tools in her kit, and she's good at executing them very well. And you saw that in the finals match, you saw in the semifinals match, and so Broden did a very good job. Um, and I just imagine her trajectory of success is going to keep on going because according to track, she's in eighth grade. So I mean, if she keeps this up, I mean, she's going to have a very bright future ahead of herself. Obviously, Rocco had a very good tournament as well, getting to the finals. And third place, Izzy Balkan had a good tournament as well. We got caught in one of those classic broken cradles, and so I mean, it is what it is. But I think 107 was a pretty solid weight class, and we had some really good talent in it.
it was. I saw a few. I'm not saying there weren't more than what I saw, but just me from what I was able to see. Man, I watched a lot of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a lot of wrestling.
Yeah, the best seat in the house.
Yeah, but like in between, like trying to like, all right, we got this coming up on this, and I'm trying to move the cameras. Like I watched a lot of matches, so sometimes it'll run together. Like
Yeah.
you know how it is.
Oh yeah, of course.
You've been there. But I saw a few matches with Rocco throughout the day that I thought she looked solid. She looked to be in control. In each match that I saw, um, and I thought it just based off of how I was seeing her perform against like as the level of the field, and then I knew that Izzy and Broughton were gonna meet up. It's like, well, one of them's gonna drop.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be one of you. And I thought Rocco had a pretty good path to the finals.
Yeah, I mean, hey, she was the number one seed coming out of the South for a reason, right?
Yeah,
Very talented, and it was a pretty competitive finals match until just as the nature of the sport, it was very competitive until it wasn't. Broughton pulled off what she's good at, caught her, and I'm trying to find the name of another girl who I was really impressed with. Miss Thomas out of Picayune, I believe. Yes, ma'am. Thomas out of Picayune. Actually, she reminds me a lot of Izzy. She's short and stocky. She has really good discipline, position, aggressive fighter. I mean, I remember seeing her in the early rounds, thinking like, "Dang, this girl's pretty good." I wonder what's going to happen against Izzy. And sure enough, it happened in the third and fourth place match, and it was a barn burner of a match. Very competitive. It was back and forth for most of the match until like about the last. I mean, I think in the third period, Izzy was up. Let me think. Let's see here. Like maybe like 10-8, 11-8, something like that. And then an exchange happened. Izzy did an excellent job, outpacing and outmaneuvering. Caught her on her back. Got some extra points to finish it 15-8. But um, it could have gone the opposite way at any point in time in that match. That's how competitive it was.
yeah,
And so I'm saying this to be like the score. A lot of points were scored towards the end of the match, but up until that point, it was anyone's match, and it was very competitive. And I'm making such an emphasis on that because there's just some matches where it's a little one sided,
yeah,
or there's not a whole lot of movement. But this was one where it's like you weren't bored for a second.
right.
Like there was a continual pace of action that was going on, and so I love it when I see that because those are the matches that as fans we want to see. That's why we pay for tickets. But as competitors and as a coach, I mean, those are the matches you want to see. Ace,
Well,
nonstop action.
and that's how you want to perform.
Yeah,
Like that should be the goal. It's like if it's like, well, I can't do that. Well, why not?
yeah,
Is it your cardio? Like what is it? Identify that. Hey, and go get it. But like that is like if you want to win state, first of all, but if you have college aspirations or anything like that, it's like, yeah, you got to have the grades, you got to have the skill too,
mm-hmm.
right? And it's like in some of these, it's like, hey, there's like I said, a lot of seventh and eighth graders,
Mm-hmm.
that were in the state tournament. So like across the board, it's like, hey, you took those licks while you're young. It's like now you know, right? It's like if you want it, you still have plenty of time to go get it,
Yeah,
right? It's like so take the lessons learned and hey, go get some.
absolutely, man.
All right, and
So
that's gonna get us into 114 pounds. Right, we had Josephine Thompson of D'Iberville and Ava Ayers of Ocean Springs, and Ava Ayers as your state champion at 114 pounds.
yeah, Ava Ayers is all 114 pounds. I mean, she had about I want to try and say this. I mean this in the most flattering way possible. Like she like had a size advantage. Like she was
Yeah,
stocky. She looks strong. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And so and she wrestles very strong. I mean, I've seen her wrestle a couple times now, and every time she gets on top of you, I imagine it's just like the weight of the world's on your back. Like she has heavy hips, good chest pressure, and then she's a dog with this 3/4 Nelson that she
yeah.
likes
That's
to
what I was
use.
gonna say, man. Like that 3/4 Nelson. Oh my
And so I
gosh.
mean, and hey, my team have experienced that firsthand. Like she's a dog with that 3/4 Nelson, and I mean, and another thing I would love to give her a compliment she clearly has a competitive spirit. You can
Oh
see,
yeah.
she wears it on her
Oh
face.
yeah.
She wrestles like it, and it's good to see. Where it's like that match starts, she's locking
Oh
in.
yeah. You know who else reminded me of who did that? Promise Parlay.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah.
It was like if she come over and talk to you on the side, it's like, oh, just the nicest girl. But
Mhm.
it's like it was a visible change into like the competitor when you're on the mat. And like, yeah, Ayers, you can definitely see that.
For sure, man. And then there was one. I mean, I know we have our disagreements, agreements, conversations about like certain levels of aggressiveness or certain levels of like we were just talking about this before the podcast, like extracurriculars outside the sport of wrestling. I guess
Oh
that's the
yeah.
talking. And I'm saying this because there was one match, and I might actually approve of this and condone this behavior where they're getting up as neutral, and she just kind of shoves her opponent a little, like it's a break of action. They're both standing up, and she just kind of pushes her a little bit and hustles back to the center. And it's like,
She's just clearing her
like,
path.
yeah,
Like,
she's just like,
I didn't want. I can't trip, so I need to get you out of
well,
the
it's
way.
like, well, just use a reminder, like, hey, we're in a match, girl. Like, like
Yeah.
we're gonna get right back to just because he blew the whistle, we're gonna get right back to action here in a second.
Yeah, like
You
it's your
know?
problem if you want to stay down there, let me use you as a prop to get
Oh no,
up or
not like
whatever.
they're in neutral position.
I'm just saying in
You know what I'm
general.
saying? Oh yeah,
You
in
know,
general, yeah,
like
yeah.
in general, like hey, if you're gonna be there, or you're just getting up lazy and you're not moving, and okay, well, I'm gonna push you, I'm gonna move you, and I'm gonna go on about my business.
Uh,
You know,
yeah.
it's like hey, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Well, it just says like
Let's go wrestle.
this is the tone of the match. Like,
Yeah,
how are you gonna respond?
yeah,
Because another thing, I guess what I'm really trying to interpret it as is like, I guess which is so backwards, but when I was a competitor, I viewed it as like, oh, okay, you're being a bit of a jerk right now. But nowadays, it's like, no, they're setting like this is the match that I want to wrestle.
right,
How are you going to respond to it?
right.
Are you going to get in your feels and being like, oh, that's rude, or are you going to be like, all right, I'm going to blast W when that whistle when that whistle blows?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I remember that was a moment that I remembered throughout the tournament. Like she gave a little shove, the rest like no shove, and it's like okay, I feel that, but she's letting that girl know that hey, we're about to go right back to battle.
First one's a warning.
Right.
you know, I'm gonna let you know that I'm willing to get that.
Yeah, and so yeah, she's a lot of fun to watch wrestle, and she was a lot of fun to watch in that finals match. And so that's basically my whole thoughts of 114. I thought.
Well, hold on, before we move on from
Oh, I mean,
114, I got one for you.
all right, what you got?
Okay, so I know that you didn't get to, see all the matches and everything
yeah.
that happened, and every year there's that one where it's like you get down on the points, and then it's like they throw the Hail Mary and they get it right.
Yeah.
Okay. Miss Charlotte Osborne from South Pontotoc, right?
Yeah.
She was taking on. Let me get London Lofton of Oak Grove. I'm sorry, Coach Lesdowski. Me and him talked about this. Okay, so London was like it was a 14-2 lead, right? And it was 37 seconds left, right?
Yeah.
They get in it's just some kind of entanglement exchange. Well, Charlie catches the arm, hooks that chicken wing, makes the turn, and gets the pin down 14-2. Right. And like we had just been working on that, this past week, getting that. And so seeing that happen, I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
I know when you see a plan get executed perfectly.
Yeah.
Especially when it matters the most, right?
Yes.
Which I mean, and hey, that's what we talk about a lot in general. You and I, and both of the guys we coach. It's like if there's a second on that clock, you can win.
Keep wrestling.
Like
Don't stop.
Like it doesn't matter if you're like one of my favorite stories to tell. The kids I coach. Maybe I've talked about it on the podcast. I can't remember anymore. But in college, I was down. I think 14-0. Like I almost got teched in the first period. We go into the second one. No, my bad. We're still in the first period, and we go out of bounds. I remember looking at the scoreboard. It says 14-0. I'm like, I'm about to get tagged. There's still a minute 20 seconds left in the period. Oh my god! This is when they first introduced the 4-point near fall.
Yeah.
And so I get down in referee's position, and the guy's like, "Nah, I'm gonna cut him." I was like, "Okay, fine." And I get up to the line. We're wrestling a little bit. I can feel him let his foot off the gas. Like he's like, "Oh, this match is in the bag, right?" And we're wrestling. We're on the edge, and I remember one of my teammates beforehand is like, "Boy, you better go bigger. If you're losing, go bigger, go home. It doesn't matter. You're gonna lose anyway. Just make it epic." I was like, "All right, let it rip." Overhook, inside trip, like lateral him back to his back. I get what 2 takedown when it was still 2 points. 4 back, 6. We go out of bounds. I was like, oh, okay, let's try this again. I'll go neutral. a low shot, catch that arm, get him to his back, and then just to a pin.
Yeah.
It's a whole exchange happened in like maybe 20 seconds.
Heck yeah, man.
Like he went from one takedown to taking me to like now he's pinned. so
Yeah.
and so it's just one of those things where it's like, and we saw so many upsets this year, like North Half, and I imagine it happened down at South Half, from what I could tell, and it happened at State too, where it's like a match can just turn on a dime, and so have to keep fighting.
You have to keep fighting, yeah, all the way to the end, and and unfortunately, we also saw this. It it bit a wrestler. It's like you also have to keep wrestling to the end,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like saw him lose on a stall. Like can't let that happen.
Oh, yeah.
Can't let that happen.
That's rough.
Like it's like no matter, like keep walking forward, right? It's like because that was one of the things through the weekend that I heard a lot of the refs talk about is like they're gonna get more on, they're gonna get quicker at calling stalls,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like you definitely can't start hopping to celebrate while there's still time ticking.
Oh my god.
You can't do that. You cannot do that. They're gonna get you,
Yeah,
right? It's like now you're gonna make them call it on you. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
don't do that. Don't do that. Just keep wrestling, right? Winning or losing, because like I said, even if you're winning, don't get comfortable with that lead
yeah.
because
Right.
it can be taken away quickly, right? It's like you just have to keep wrestling until you hear the whistle, right, or the slap on the mat. Other than that, like forward, 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 wrestle, wrestle, wrestle. Anything else, any other mentality is gonna get you beat. It may not get you beat today,
Yeah.
may not be tomorrow,
Sometimes.
but it's gonna get you beat, right?
Yeah, dude. Facts.
All
And
right.
then, well, I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my girl Josie Shaner. Just day woke up on Saturday of the North Half State, 104-degree fever. Couldn't make it. Heartbreak. It's the number one seed, and I'm bringing this up just to give her a shout out. A seventh grader with a lot of passion and love for the sport. So I just want to give her props. It's always a tragedy when a kid's season gets cut short, and
Yeah.
I'm sure every coach you have a story this season, and so that's mine. That's a girl who I'm disappointed in, not in her, but in the situation
Right.
that
That's
things.
yeah.
Because my high school coach had it's a phrase that I thought was corny at the time, but it's something I live by now. Just control what you can control, and just accept what you can't, and then just work with what you have or the circumstances. And hey, you can't control when you get the flu.
Yeah, especially 104-degree
You know what I'm
fever.
saying? So and then, I'm sure that, like I said, that's probably not a unique case. I'm sure the season's long, a lot of things happen, and I'm sure every team experienced something similar. So not only Josie, but shout out to all those wrestlers, that had a season cut short for things out of their control. I mean, hopefully you guys have another year to give it another shot. Or hey, there's the spring wrestling. We got the freestyle Greco stuff. I mean, um, there's still more opportunities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Now to get us into the 120-pound final between Hannah Lindsay of Van Cleve and Addison Molander of Ocean Springs, with Addison Molander being your 120-pound state champion.
Yeah, I mean, simply put, Wallander's just a beast. I mean, I don't really know what else there needs to even be said. I mean, she's super strong, very good agility, very explosive. She's very technical as well, and so you throw all those things together, it's a wrestler that's hard to beat.
Man, I said it, earlier on in the year, may even been last year. I'm like, hey, look, if someone was to ask me, it's like, what do you want your ideal, high school girl wrestler to look like? I'd show them her. It's like, man, she has the physique. She's, she you can tell she has, put in the work over the years. You know what I'm saying? To
Mm-hmm.
to for her body to be built like that, and man, she is just so strong in every position,
Yeah,
right? Like when it comes to anywhere, like if you're her size, it's like you're gonna have a very very hard time like moving her.
yeah,
you know, like she has but then she brings the technique with it,
mm-hmm.
and if you make a mistake, you're gonna get caught. And look, another one. I mean, I'm very very high on Hannah Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
Very very high. She is an extremely good wrestler, and she's another one, right? Like she has the technique, and you can see her. You can see her body like the shoulders. You know what I'm saying? The quads. You could see it developing in that wrestler, and she's another one that wrestles all year long. Puts in the work, goes and finds that tough competition, and but she just was step under that, right? And she brought the technique, and she was able to score points on Molander, but she got caught.
No,
Couldn't recover.
yeah, no. The praises I'll give Hannah Lindsay is that, I mean, she's very agile. I mean, what was really cool is that when Moana would take like a straight on shot, she did a really good job getting to the side and like bumping her hips. She was really good in those scramble situations. She was able to enter a flow state, which is really cool to see in the girls division. And it's not a surprise that she got Molander in the South State, if that's how that match played out, where she was just kind of countering Molander's momentum and
Yeah,
showing like, hey, she scored a couple exchanges by timing things right. And so that is a testament to like the mat experience that she's put in.
absolutely.
I mean, I know she was working her butt off this past summer, and so I've been waiting to watch her since the Deep South duels last year. Unfortunately, the Molander one was the only match I saw this year, and she competed exceptionally well. And so she's a junior, and she has another year left. So I mean, I imagine next year will probably be her year.
Yeah, and like I said, you could tell that her technique. I could probably even argue that just off of what I saw, Hannah probably has a little more tools in the tool bag when it comes to wrestling technique. You know, um, and that's how she was able, to negate all of those strengths that Molander brings to the mat, and still score points and put Molander in bad positions. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And that's why it's like, hey, if she did catch her, I can believe it. I'm right there with you. Because experience does matter. And if you're someone who, I'm not saying that Addison does, just use her strength to her advantage, but if you're a wrestler who doesn't really have that intangible, almost like on the boys' side, who I would look at is like a Chase Alspaw.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like he's not jacked, but he's like for his frame, like he's very strong and he's very technical. You know what I'm saying? And you can tell like he knows how to use his body to be strong.
Yes, sir.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say if you didn't say it yourself. Like
Yeah,
just the way you position your body, the force you
exactly,
generate. Yeah.
exactly. And I see that in Hannah Lindsay as well, right? It's not like a hey, I know if I grab you, I'm about to toss you
Yeah.
strength.
No, dude. I mean, that makes 100% sense. I mean, it's crazy what happens where it's like if you throw your whole body into something or you time something exactly right to capture their momentum, like muscles become secondary almost.
Right.
So we do see that a lot, with her, and then yeah, you bring the All Star boys for sure. But in the 120 weight class, there's two other girls I want to talk about. Obviously, I got to talk about Grace Brown. You know what? From last year was her first year wrestling. Again, this is her second year. Huge jump in technique, positioning. She's really bought into the system. I was really impressed with. She developed some good, cleaner shots, and she's just a wonderful athlete to coach. And she had a lot of good wins. She hung in with Molander longer than she has in the past, and I think that shows growth. I mean, it's not the growth I'm sure the athlete wants to experience, but it's still any kind of improvement is improvement, right?
You look at it like a forge, man. Like you don't get it all on the first try. You
Mm-hmm.
got to keep sticking that baby back in the fire.
Right.
It's like, hey,
And
sometimes it's just part of it.
and I know that's not, like I said, I know that's not what an athlete wants to hear, but it's like, hey, you know what? Before you got pinned in like 20 seconds, now we lasted almost the whole period,
Right.
and then you fended off some offense. You got good positioning. Like
Well,
that's a big jump to me.
and that's the whole reason why we push. Hey, go out of state and wrestle.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you think we're sending you over there because we think you're gonna win?
Shh, you're saying the quiet part out loud, dude. Stop.
Well, I'm just saying, like it, but it's like, but you need to know.
No, yeah, you need that feeling.
You
for
need
sure.
to know. It's like yes, like for around here, yeah, man, like you're probably the top of the heap. Go to a national competition,
Yeah,
right? It's like it's just we're not there yet, right? And it's like, but if you can go and you can experience that, and then you can keep coming back here, and you keep putting, and then vice same thing, right? It's a trickle down effect, right?
yeah,
You go there, you experience that butt whooping, you come back, and then you give that butt whooping, so they experience it, so they go get better.
Exactly.
right? And then you're just pushing the standard, right? Now you've got everybody going and getting their butts whooped, and they're bringing that experience back, and they're all trying to whoop each other that way, and it's just gonna make you all better. Like, don't run from it. Don't
Yeah.
run from it. It's okay.
Yeah, no, dude, you and I've been preaching that for years. Like, if you can go out of state, do it. Again, it's not a secret how kids get better. You just get more mat time, and you just find tougher people to wrestle.
And hey, and we've gotten to the point where like there have been some of those kids that have been listening for a couple years, and hey, they're going and doing it. Jordan Sherrod was one of them.
Yeah,
Right? Did it earlier this year. It's like it's not a far stretch anymore to say that, if you're willing to go do that, right? If you're willing to go challenge yourself and accept like, okay, this may not go my way, but I'm doing it for the experience,
yeah,
right? Like I need to know. I need to know, right? It's like, all right, think about like American football, right?
hmm
If they said, all right, man, we're going to give you, 1 quarter in the NFL, would you go play? Yes. You just want to know, right? But how do you think that's going to go for you?
I don't know. I don't know. Just the hypothetical made me anxious.
Right? Like, how do you think that's going to go for you? They line you up and put Warren Sapp on the other side. Like the 2000 Warren Sapp to play
Yeah.
for the Buccaneers. Like,
God
okay.
bless.
but but that's my point, right?
No, hey, it's well received, man. And like I said, like that's been the philosophy with how I coach my kids off season. Obviously, the South has been doing that. And again, you know what? That's the common thread between all of our elite wrestlers that we produce so far. It's what do they do in the off season? They travel everywhere. That's pretty
Yeah.
much it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and that's why you're starting to see, like these, especially these finals matches, being really good, quality matches.
Oh, you know what, dude? And maybe I should say this to the boys one, but I've already started talking. Not to detract too much, but I think um, like Ian Shepard's a good example. Like we took him out of state. We kind of had these practices at Premier with all these other kids, and we structured a certain way. And then he took all that, went to DeSoto Central, and was like, "This is the kind of quality competition I'm used to competing against. These are the practices I'm getting used to. This is how we're going to operate as a team." And DeSoto Central had the best year they've ever had.
Exactly. Right. Like
You
like
know?
like that is exactly right. I mean, that's exactly my point is, that was one of the teams that I remember when we did, our top 5 rankings and stuff, and heading into the team North half duels and South half duels, you know, that was one of the teams that I said that, hey, like probably like per capita, like when it comes to like athleticism and all that, they've probably got one of the best teams, right? Like because the other kids on that team, like they bought in
Yeah.
because they saw Ian go and do that and have that success. And so whenever he's like, hey, no, like this is how we're going to do it. Like this is what we need to be doing. It's like, okay, like, well, it's easy to listen to it because I just watched him go do it.
Yeah.
Right. And they bought in, and man, they improved a lot just by that. And that was just one of the kids going and doing it.
Right.
Now imagine if you can be like Van Cleve,
Yeah.
and take you 10 of them.
Right. No, and same with I know. Same with Ocean Springs and
Right.
Picayune. Um, I know for a fact just being around the girls team, like they're all clearly, and I just know what they do. Like they're experienced. They train all the time, and that's contagious amongst their team. And I know Kyle over at Picayune, he takes his kids around, and so and then like you're saying, it's contagious. Like once you see how the other side trains and what an elite level is, because a lot of these kids are just not. They've never been exposed to like what an elite level wrestler is, or they've never felt what an elite level practice feels like. And once you feel that, it's like there's no real going back. Like if you're about that life, there's no going back to how things were beforehand once you've experienced that, because you know what it takes now.
Absolutely. It's kind of like when like touching the fire. Like
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
like hey, it's like now. Don't do that. It's like it's like okay. It's like once I get this beat, and I'm like okay, well like so there are people my age that can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I gotta get better. Otherwise, this ain't gonna work out.
100%, dude. And then there's one more girl I want to give a nice honorable mention to. Let me get her first name. I think Jakaya Lindsay out of Long Beach. Um, and this is a compliment that can be applied to all Long Beach girls, but specifically Miss Lindsay. Um, I was I was very satisfied with how that team looked as a first year team. I mean, what was cool from like a team aspect is that they were immediately bought in. They took immense pride in what they were capable of doing. I know for a fact that they hung their hat on how they competed against teams that have been around longer. And I know from what I've watched on film and at the dual state and the state tournament is that they are all competitors, and they're all very athletic and they're all very intense and they want to win. And specifically, Miss Lindsay, I mean, she clearly went out there ready to rip heads off and she wanted to win.
Oh
And with the athleticism that she demonstrated, I mean, once she gets her arm around your head, it's tough.
yeah,
And so, shout out to her. You guys look good, you and your team. In case I don't circle back to Long Beach girls looked very solid. Oh,
oh,
and the boys
oh,
too, but we're just talking about
oh
girls right
yeah,
now.
yeah. Like the Long Beach girls, that was, because I'd been seeing them making noise. I've been keeping up, on paper, but I'd been seeing them making noise, in the South like all year long, and so
Mm-hmm.
I was really excited to, get to see that, and that was my takeaway of like the Long Beach girls team, like in general, was very athletic, very tough. It's like they didn't have a ton of skill, but they had a few things. You know what they reminded me of the first time we saw MSMS?
Yeah, yeah, that's valid.
I almost had that same feeling. I'm like, okay, like all these kids are coming out here and like they're scrapping, they're ready to go,
Yeah,
and but they're pretty athletic.
yeah,
Like they're bringing some grit and some athleticism. It's not just tough. It's not just athletic, but they don't have a lot yet.
yeah.
Right? They don't have a lot yet.
Which is the nature of a first year team. I
Right?
mean, like that's not a dig. It's just you guys
No.
just started wrestling,
Yeah,
So like, don't get it twisted.
but I mean, hey, like Nina Weinstein won the state championship. That's not a
Mhm.
knock. That's not saying you can't find success in
Oh,
that.
of course, yeah.
It's like that's a, it's like, hey, that's a. I was impressed, like overall, like with that team. I thought
So,
they looked good.
I mean, I'll say it now. Like, if all those girls come back, and if they do even a little bit of training in the off season, they might be, an established top five team.
Yeah,
Just because, like I said, they showed a lot of potential from what I saw at least.
yeah,
Um, but now going on to 126, we have the older green girl and
yeah.
Jayla
Alasia,
Jayla Anderson.
which I mean,
And
I'm not gonna lie. This was the match that I've been waiting all season long to get to see in person. Hey, and it delivered. Right?
oh yeah,
It delivered. Look, both of them through the whole tournament that I was able to see. Every time I looked over there and saw Jayla Anderson on the mat, lightning fast shot,
mm,
just domination, all the way to the finals. And basically, same thing for Coco Green. Um, I mean, and then the finals match itself. It's like, hey, it came down to the wire, and may the best wrestler win, and it just so happened to be that Alasia caught Jayla, you know, more than Jayla caught Alasia, in that match. And but I mean, hey, that was probably skill for skill the best match that I saw, um, and I was very impressed, very very impressed.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to say something too controversial, but that might have been the probably one of the best matches I've seen within the state of Mississippi in the girls division. And on top of that, like it's probably one of the better storylines that we've had so far,
Oh,
probably in the history of the sport, which is only 5 years old. But just there are two of some of our most talented ladies. They've wrestled each other. What, six? Was this their seventh time?
yeah, multiple times this year.
Um, and I think they were split, or maybe Jayla had one more going into this one. Oh yeah, I think this finals match tied it back up the series. And so it was highly anticipated. They've been running it back, multiple times throughout the season, multiple tournaments, multiple duels. And so it was like, what's going to happen this time?
Yeah,
And this was the first one where I felt my heart pumping out my chest, like this is coming down to the wire. Like, what's going on? And again, it's like that was really cool. And again, just back to throwing praises on the Green Girls. One thing I like about Alasia is the same thing. She has this really long, athletic body that she is very capable of utilizing. And I think, and again, I only saw the finals match and I think I saw them at South State Duels. I watched that video. Um, Alasia's hard to score on. That's a lot of arms to get through. That's a lot
Yeah.
of leg to get to, and so um, she did a very good job just slowing Jayla down, controlling the ties, and controlling the pace. I mean, she shut her offense down, and it was just a matter of waiting for her opportunity, and it just happened to come in overtime.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was a very fun match. It's going to be one that I think will hopefully be talked about for years to come. Because again, I thought it was a great story, and I think that um, yeah, outstanding.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah. I mean, that's why it's like, I mean, there's really not, there's really nothing bad to say about it. Like, I can't be like, well, you could have done this more, could have done that more. I think both of them were going out there trying to implement their game plan on each other. Both of them used really good defense. I mean, they moved well, they defended well, they attacked well. It was just a good match, man.
It
And
was.
and it like that right there is the prime example of when you go best on best, somebody's gonna get the silver medal. It's
Yeah.
like that doesn't take anything away from either person.
Yeah. I mean, this is what we were talking about at the start of the year. Where it's like, you know, that's where the honor is.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's the glory.
like that's a state title that she's gonna remember.
Right.
Like Alasia Green, like at least unless I know she has a couple more years left, but um, that's the one where it's like, I earned that one.
Right.
Because sometimes I mean, it's just is what it is. A lot of it there's some talent gaps in these finals matches where it's like you can't just go out there and collect your bracket. This is, I mean, she gritted it out and had to earn it, and this is probably a story that will be told. Like I said, she'll tell it, their family will tell it, the community will talk about it. It was an amazing match.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the glory that both of them were chasing.
Yeah,
Right. It's like they knew at the beginning of the season what they were getting into, and they both went head on. That's why the series was the way it was leading into the state finals. It had went their way and not went their way multiple times, but they still kept coming back with that belief that they're the best and they're going to prove it, right? And it just so happened to be Alasia's day that day,
mm-hmm.
you know. It's like, okay, that doesn't mean that they couldn't do it again tomorrow and there'd be a different result.
Yeah, right.
You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
it's just it is what it is, you know. And hey, man, I all I can say is I'm looking forward to seeing it again. like I am. Like, I mean, sign me up. I'm there for it, man. Like that, they did spectacular, man. They really did.
Yeah, and like it's not the last we've seen of both of them, and so I imagine they're just gonna get better. And hey, we'll see what happens next year. It's very exciting. Very exciting.
All right. All right, and that's going to get us into the 132 pounds. We had Adasia Thompson of Ocean Springs take on Miss Lauren Morris of Oxford. Oh, Joel.
Yeah,
I'm
what?
Man, I am jealous. Like, all right, whenever I'm like, looking out, I'm like, all right, where's the human highlight? Right? Like, dude, it doesn't matter, dude. You could put Lauren Morris on a mat on a Tuesday, a Thursday, a Sunday night. It doesn't matter. She's fixing to blast double somebody. You hear me? And then she's going to slam them. And I love it. I love it, Joe. She was my favorite wrestler to watch, this weekend. She was. I mean, even in that state finals. I mean, even the finals match, dude. I mean, it was blast double dump, blast double dump. Like, she's just physically imposing, but as I was watching that, she was everything that you were telling her to do, she did it. Like, it was just like you were player number one and you were controlling her. You said, if you said, hey, drop the hips, back off, you're getting too high, like, immediately, just as you were saying it, she was doing it. And man, it was spectacular to watch her. The couple times I got to see her throughout the season, but man, that finals match, I mean, she sealed the deal. But like, you could put it on any one of the matches that she had in that tournament, and she did the same thing to every person. And I'm jealous that you got to watch that all year long.
Yeah, so now I can finally reveal it. I've been trying to keep Lauren a secret for a while now, and I mean, obviously, it came out, a couple like a month ago, and I just wanted it to be a surprise for everyone. And because Lauren tried out for the team last spring, I knew like this is an athlete. She's a very special talent. Who knows if she's actually going to come out? We'll see. And then over the summer, she started coming to my club practices, and I was like, oh, cool. She's really giving it a try. And then she just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. It's like, oh my gosh, she might actually join the team, you know. And then we had our first duel, and I was like, oh, this girl's gonna win state. That was my like the whistle blew. She got in a blastella, picked her up, put her to her back, pinned her, and I was like, she's gonna be one of my first state champions.
Yes, dude.
With that, and like that's just how I thought all year. Every time I saw her practice, every time I saw her match, like, all right, how many more months until she wins her state title? Like and that's how it went. And she had what you saw in the finals. That was her matches all year. I mean, it especially I have to brag about this again. Like I said, I kept all this to myself. I've been waiting to kind of share these triumphs. I mean, to put things in perspective. I mean, early on in her season, we went to Alabama for this tournament, and we had a Weaver High School, which is one of the best teams in the state of Alabama, both girls and boys. And she had this girl from Weaver in the finals, and it was just business as usual. And this was back when I was forcing her to cut and release nonstop, because she's fantastic on her feet, all that good stuff. And so I was like, take her down and cut her, takes her down again, cut her, and I think she teched her, I think early in the second period, and I was like, okay, cool, got first. We go home, and her dad asked me to make her a track wrestling account, and so I make her a track wrestling account. Then I see under if you have a track wrestling account, you know this. It says notable wrestlers. Oh, hey, we just wrestled that girl this past week. I click on her. She was an Alabama state champion. And I was like, oh, she teched an Alabama state champion in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Oh my God.
And she had been wrestling how long at that point?
Oh, well, since this was, I think, in November or just early December, and she'd been wrestling since May. So just a couple months.
Yeah.
So that's when it was really like, oh yeah, like this is fun. And you're right. I've always made sure to corner her matches because hey, you know what? Call me selfish. They're fun to watch.
Man,
and that's the
they
best,
are.
best seat in the house. But also, I say that as a joke, but because the truth is, like Lauren is just, like you're saying, she's so coachable. She keeps her ears open, even when her body's saying no. Like when I was saying like like I remember in a match where it's like she's clearly tired, and I'm being like, no, we're one takedown away from a tech fall cutter, and hey, she's cutting. It's not, coach, no, I'm too tired. No, she's cutting. She's attacking. So she's been she was so coachable, good attitude, hard worker, always looking to win. I mean, and I have one more year with her, so I mean, I'm super excited for Lauren Moore. Or if she chooses to go back out for wrestling, I'll have another year with her, and I hope she does because she's incredibly talented at this sport, and who knows what that next level for her looks like.
Man, I mean, and that's the thing is like and she brings it all, right? Like she like the way she carries herself off the mat. Like when you see her, it's like man, she's all about business, right? Like when you see her being introduced to for her finals match, she's Miss Personality.
Oh my gosh!
Right, yeah. Right. She's Miss Personality. But then when you see her on the mat, it's like she's the human highlight. It's like she brings it all. You know what I'm saying? So she has that potential to, really do something with that.
She's so sweet too. Like her and Grace Brown, they're always like trying to get us to play Just Dance. Yeah. Eventually, I broke and we played it for a good while, and she got us involved. And like I said, she's always a bubbly personality in the room, but as soon as she's on deck, it's
right.
You know what I mean? Like, so anyway, I don't want to turn this too much in the Oxford Hour, but yeah, Lauren, amazing to watch. I mean, great tournament. Tech fall major, and I mean, we probably could have scored more in that finals match, but what was the point?
Yeah,
at some point. But yeah, congratulations, Lauren.
Get us to 138 pounds. We had Melina Doggett from George County taking on Rakila Brown of Starkville, with Melina Doggett being your 138-pound state champion. What I tell you, Joe? What I tell you?
Brother,
What I tell you?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. For those who may recall, we were talking earlier in the season. Tim said one of the first two teams that were going to be on fire this year was George County. He said that there's something in the water, that there are a lot of freak athletes, that there are a lot of sleeping giants, and boy, that was exemplified by Miss Doggett. She had a good state run, and one thing I was just super impressed with her is that she looks a little undersized for that weight class. She's an eighth grader, but golly, she fights like a giant. I knew it was going to be a competitive match the moment Raquela Brown off the whistle, was in her face, tried to bully her, got into a really nice double A takedown, and Miss Doggett was like, "Not today, not today. You're not. No, 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 no."
Yes.
and at that moment, I perked up and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a match. Like, let's go, let's go. I'm excited for this one."
Absolutely. And and we know that Raquela brings the physicality to the match. Like that's her world. She wants to wrestle that way with somebody. And when you saw Melina match up with that immediately, like you knew, okay. But then she kept coming,
Mm-hmm.
and she kept coming, and then you started seeing Raquela on the back foot a little bit, and Doggett just kept coming and kept coming. And hey, man, like she is as tough as they come.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she is. Like I said before the match, she's over there, bah, 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 getting ready. I was like, yes,
Oh yeah, I mean,
yes, let's go.
I love that. I mean, like I said, like it's hard to coach a mentality like that. I mean, in the sense like that's what you want as a wrestler. You need that as a wrestler. Like, I'm here, I'm ready to fight, I'm ready to throw down. Hell, I'm beating myself up.
Yeah.
And so like it's hard to coach those qualities in an athlete. But so if you have someone that already has that, I mean, I'm calling it right now. She might be one of the next big names in girls wrestling in Mississippi, as she develops more in her technique and as she goes through life. There's just an upward trajectory for her, and so just keep a lookout for Doggett. I think she's going to turn into a dog.
Oh, 100%. And and that speaks volume to like the skill and toughness that she's bringing as an eighth grader. At this point, right? Like you take that same eighth grader, from 4 years ago, 5 years ago, like it's not the same
Mm.
path, to the state championship,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah.
Like the girls wrestling has grown immensely since then, and each year it's growing immensely and getting tougher. Like you're seeing a lot of these girls specifically putting in the work in the summer and getting better, and you're seeing it come to fruition. And so for her to have that success as an eighth grader in this environment, right? Like that right there gives me a lot of like excitement to see where she's gonna go.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the bracket, and based on where she landed, it doesn't look like she did too hot at the South State tournament, and so she clearly came into this tournament as an underdog. So I mean, that just amplifies the storyline of her tournament run.
She's the Noah Glosson of girls wrestling.
Oh, I like that.
That's like undersized for the weight class.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, just underestimated.
Mhm.
But hey, they're fixing a dog on
Yeah,
you.
proving
They're
everybody
fixing to
wrong.
come after
Yeah.
you just for saying that, just for thinking that way. They're gonna come show you, right?
And so I love that. I'm really excited to see her career progress. And then while we're on the topic, let's just talk about Georgia County girls in general across the board. Just like we gave props to Long Beach, I thought George County looked really good. I mean, and we'll talk about the boys when we talk about the boys, but the girls also very strong, really in the fight. I mean, obviously they had the first year rugged edges, but the intangibles that we constantly talk about, I saw a lot of that, and so I think they're going to be a really solid team in the years to come.
Absolutely, and and that was knowing just about like George County, athletics in general, right? And that's what kind of formed my opinion on them being one of the teams to watch out for, is just because in sports in general, whether it be football, softball, baseball, I mean, they're just really competitive. You know what I'm saying? At the more competitive, uh, 1A, 2A, 3A. Like they're more competitive at the higher of those. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because the bigger the schools, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
you're just gonna get better because you have more kids
Right.
to pick from. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? and but they just compete really well across the board, and so it's like if you can just get some of those athletes to transition over, it's like you're just going to start off with like good competitors at least.
Mhm.
They might not be the most technically sound wrestlers, but they're going to go out there and they know how to compete,
Yeah.
right? And that's something that's really hard to teach, right? Like if you take a kid who hasn't ever competed at anything growing up, it's like either they got it or they don't have it, and that'll get exposed quick. But if you take a kid who, they played basketball, they played baseball, they played football growing up, it's like, okay, like they don't have to know how to wrestle, but they know how to win,
Yeah.
right? And that says a lot.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. That's something we talk about quite frequently, and it's interesting to see that like um, these smaller communities have that quality because everything you're talking about right now just reminded me of you're just describing South Montauk
Yeah,
girls. You know what I mean? Like small school, small tight knit community, and just girls that just want to rip your head off and be super aggressive and in your face and have a lot of grit and perseverance. And so, you know, now that we talk about it, George County did remind me quite a bit of what South Pontoc has been putting out.
absolutely. And that's another one. If you look at the South Pontotoc girls athletics, they're just competitive. In other sports, and you can just get some of them. Or I mean, just the culture in general down there. I went to South Pontotoc, so I can just say this. I'm just saying, like, a little rough around the edges, some of them,
Yeah,
and but that's a good thing. It's a good thing when it comes to being a competitor,
yeah,
right?
makes you want to fight.
That's right. That's right. All right. So now we'll get into the 145-pound finals. We had Alexandra Rosales of Oak Grove taking on Nina Weinstein of MSMS.
So during one of those matches, one of my coaches turned to me and said, "Coach, you're really not good at hiding your biases." When Nina was winning. So I mean, I'm not going to start now. Nina's fantastic. She's been one of my favorites she was one of my favorite girl wrestlers last year, and it only doubled after we got to meet her and interview her and get to talk wrestling a little bit more. And I thought it was wonderful to see her win another title and do so in a very convincing way. And I know she's on to bigger and better things. And I wanted to get that out of the way because I do want to give a lot of praises to Rosales.
Man,
You know,
she wrestled a heck of a tournament. And she's another one, Coach Lesdowski, speaks highly of her. She's a competitor, man. She goes out there and like she firmly believes that she's gonna win. She wants to win, and you could tell that she you could tell that she didn't like to lose when she
mm,
lost in that finals match. You know what I'm saying? It got to her, and I mean, you hate to see that, even though it's a part of it because, uh, man, she is one of those girls that she wrestled really really tough.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying against Nina, and you could see where it's like, man, like when that air got let out, like it really let out, and because I mean, it said she had a great day one, looked great in the semifinals, and it was just like, man, you just Nina Weinstein. I mean, you just can't say enough good things about her. You know,
right.
I mean, she's been a dog since the day we met her. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And she's only put in work since then.
Yeah.
I mean, like she deserved it too. You know, what
Oh,
I mean,
I know
like
100%. I mean,
same thing, same. It's
yeah,
like she's dedicated to her craft.
yeah. I mean,
You could tell because like I said, she's definitely dedicated to her education, but you can see that she's a power lifter too. She does well in that, and she just used that to her advantage to help her become a better wrestler. And like I said, her and Enoch Clarity, they've traveled, trained at different places, picked up knowledge, did and hey, that's why he did with what he did as well. Like they put in the work. You know,
yeah. And so just to wrap up thoughts on like Rosales, I mean, again, major props. You're clearly a competitor, and also it's clear that you're also working. I mean, you have good, solid technique, good foundation, good fundamentals, and you have another year left. And so, I mean, I'm rooting for you. You're always someone who I tried to watch your matches because they were fun to watch, and I know you're gonna bounce back from this. And you have good coaches down at Oak Grove, and you know I think the future's looking bright for her. But yeah, Nina, I mean, again, man, just it's no surprise that, and actually, this is a fun thing I've been thinking about. I think, MSMS being the junior senior school, you have to be invited to go apply there. Like they are getting almost by definition high achieving kids, and you can see that in their mindsets. Enoch and Nina, just talking with them both during our interview, and then after that, hey, we developed this relationship. I can start having small talk. They have a high performing mentality where it's like, I'm studying film, I'm studying wrestling, I'm going to go train, I'm going to go practice, I'm going to believe that I can achieve these things. And they both clearly had raw athletic talent as we saw last year, but they refined it for 365 days.
That's absolute, man. Like there was
'Cause that's
no
the only
days off.
difference between Nina last year and Nina this year. It's just it looks sharp.
Yeah, and she just had even more belief in her technique, and that's why I said it early in the season. It's like, hey, like this isn't the same Nina. It's a better Nina because now she's just out there and she's just on the attack. Like she's not afraid to shoot on you because she's not worried about getting in a bad position. Because if she finds herself in a bad position, she's confident in the work that she's put in that she's going to get out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so she's not afraid to let her offense loose because she's not afraid to having to be on defense.
Right.
And you saw that early in the season where it's just like it was just, not, it didn't look like reckless abandonment, but it was fearless wrestling. I mean, it didn't matter. As soon as they shook hands and he said go, she went. Right then.
Oh yeah. And this is, and again, I know we're kind of talking her up quite a bit, but she's another example among many that I've been using for my own girls. It's like she is as nice and as polite as can be, and outside of the mat. And then I remember, and I'll tell this story again. I know I already told it in previous episodes, but during the first duel, she was super sweet, really nice to my girls, very polite to our coaches. And then she was not polite once that whistle blew. Absolutely not. And you see that in all those matches. And like she's just really, you can even describe her as shy a little bit and reserved a little bit, but she sure isn't when she starts wrestling.
Man.
And so, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, and I'm using this as kind of a segue to just general advice where, because this kind of plagued my team for the first half of the season. I see it, especially in girls wrestling, because a lot of girls, they're just sweet girls. They're nice, innocent. They're starting the sport, and they're like a little afraid to like get their hands on you. Well, you're gonna run into a girl like Nina Weinstein who's already learned how to flip that switch, or Rosales, she's also been doing this, or Raquela Brown, where it's like they're gonna eat your lunch, dude, if you don't do something.
Or Ava Ayers.
Exactly.
Right.
And Molander. I mean, the list goes on and on. Our elite girls, they figured out that hey, wrestling is not who you are. Who you are in a match isn't who you are outside the mat. Like you can be aggressive and mean and looking to win, and then when the final whistle blows, hey, you're helping them up, you're smiling, you're laughing, having a good time. And so I just want to encourage all girls and all wrestlers in general, like, hey, it's okay to be physical in a combat sport.
Right. It's like the whole Superman thing, right? It's like, hey, when you start strapping that ankle band on, it's like there's your phone booth right there, right?
You got. I love that.
You got to go from being Clark Kent to you got to go be Superman right now.
That's
right?
Dope. Yeah.
Like when you strap that on, when you stand up, hey, it's different, right? There's a whole different person. We have a whole different mission right now, right? It's go time. Go save the world, baby.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, that was tight.
Like that, huh?
I'm definitely gonna steal it. Hopefully, none of my girls or boys will listen to this, so when I use it, it sounds original and cool. But anyway, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it's just like, if any wrestlers are listening, and we give unsolicited advice all the time. I mean, it's just one of those things where you turn that aggression up a little bit, and it's okay. We all consent. Every athlete in wrestling, by stepping on that line, they consent to a battle. And like I said, you might think you're being nice, but honestly, and that's another thing. Now that we're just kind of talking about, why this is practical, I also think it's a good way to ensure your own safety. Because I mean, if you let off that gas, and if you're too hesitant, and they have a spring of energy, or they try and run you over, I mean, hey, you can blow your. I literally saw it this year. You can injure your knee, injure your ankle, get a concussion. So, I mean, if you're not ready to bring that fight, you're going to get run over and you might get hurt.
Well, man, this is something that I talk about with, fighters consistently because just the reality of it is, man, MMA is a lot more consequential than
Yeah.
wrestling, right? And when I'm preparing guys to go in there and get into a fight, it's like, hey, I don't care if you've known this guy since you were kids or whatever. If you step in there, if you step in that cage and he agrees that he wants to do this, like make no mistake about it, he wants to hurt you,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you go in there thinking, "Oh, this is my friend," he's gonna hurt you, right? Like, like the only reason he agreed to sign up is for one thing. There's only one purpose of us doing this: is to hurt each other, right? So if he said, "I want to do it against you," guess what he wants to do? He wants to hurt you. So you better be ready. You better be prepared mentally to go hurt him, because if you're not, it's gonna be you on the receiving end of that. Same thing when it comes to wrestling. They have one goal: to go out there and physically impose their will on you, put your back on the mat, and pin your shoulders there. If you're not prepared to go do that to them, it's going to happen to you. And you need to understand that. Every time you step on the mat, they have one goal. You should have that same goal and you should take it seriously because they're going to hurt you, right? Like, you think they won't just reach back and grab you and just start snatching you around? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And if you're not prepared to defend yourself, you're going to hurt yourself.
Right, and I just think that's just a good lesson. I mean, I saw that a lot this year, particularly in the girls wrestling and the boys wrestling, where it's like they just weren't ready, and like I said, someone ate their lunch, and they got banged up, and like I said, it's like I'm basically just repeating what you just said. If you're not ready to defend yourself, to fight back, and again, I want to make something abundantly clear because I'm always worried that our messages are going to get twisted. I'm not condoning like what we call excessive force or things like that. I mean, I'm not saying we need to like cock back and do hard cross faces or intentionally like shove their face in the mat necessarily, but it's just like what we call heavy hands. Yeah. Hey, snap that. I'm not saying put your hand on the back of his head. I'm saying snap that thing down.
Yes.
When I say a crossface, I do mean just, literally crank that up a little bit.
Because it causes a reaction.
Yeah.
And we want that reaction to capitalize on the reaction. And so it's like you have to do it hard. That's just part of it. Like it's no ill will, but it's like if I go over there and I'm just barely, that's not, it's not effective at that point. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you ain't going over with
it's
that.
Like, why are we even doing this? You know what I'm saying? So like we do things for the effect of them.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And so that's just part of the effect, And so if you don't want to get cross-faced, first off, don't get yourself in that position.
Preach.
Right? Like preventative measures, is the safest way to go about this, right? Like just don't get there to begin with. But it's like, hey, just understand, like, if it happens, first off, you let yourself get there. Second off, it's part of it. And when it's your chance, you do it to them too. Right? Like that's what we're doing here. Don't let the fact that in between matches or, after the first round, they come, hey, you did so good. I saw you. Yeah. But step on the mat and see. It's mental warfare, baby. Right? Mental warfare is a real thing.
Oh, man. And so, like we already said, Rosales Weinstein, who we're going to talk about in this next weight class, Elizabeth Townsend. Like same thing. Like listen, I mean, for some reason, when we cross paths, we'll make comments. And, I've gotten to know her a little bit. Delightful. Very delightful person. Very enjoyable. I've had a few pleasant exchanges with her. She has one of the strongest handshakes probably in the state, both, boys and girls, men and women. Like when she shook my hand, I was like, dang girl, why are you trying to hurt me right now? But she's also just another one of those really aggressive in your face competitors. And this match was for me, it was one of my most highly anticipated matches because I was very excited to watch Tania Hinton. Dang it.
Tania Hinton of St. Martin.
I said I wasn't going to do it. Holy. Tania Hinton. My apologies. That was on my list to watch.
And I as well, because when I saw that matchup, I remember Hinton from the tournament last year.
Yes, exactly.
Right. And so like I was like, ooh, this is gonna be a good one. Mm-hmm. Right. Good.
I mean, it was. It was good. It was one of those things where you're kind of holding your breath. It was kind of watching, these two great forces slowly getting ready to collide to one another. Because that's what it was. It was just a lot of build up and then a big moment and then it was over.
Yeah, and and like I said, a lot of this anticipation for us, started last season,
Exactly.
right? And like Miss Ellie Townsend, she was like on my radar at the wrestling rodeo
Mm.
when her and Nina Weinstein met up in the finals, and she got the win over Nina, right? And that's when I knew. I was like, oh my gosh. And so like I was looking forward to the state finals,
Mm.
that year, because I was like, give me that match, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like the Jayla Anderson, Alasia Green match this year. Last year, like Nina Weinstein and Ellie Townsend was like, that's the one. Give me that one, right? That's the one I was waiting for the whole tournament. And like I said, she again, same experience, right? Like it's like I've never just had like a conversation with her, but we've had exchanges, and she's always just like super cool, super just like ready to go, ready. But she'll joke a little bit. You can
Mm.
tell like she's in a competitive mindset with a little bit of lax to it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like she's calm about the moment, right? Like she's not letting the moment get big, but she wants to compete, and she's a dog when she goes out there. I mean, an absolute dog. I love to watch her wrestle, man. Is that she brings a great technique, she brings a great mentality, and she's a great competitor. Great competitor.
Yes, and what, the same can be said about Tanaya. I mean, honestly, I think she's honestly comparable to the Green Girls. I mean, she has a very similar body type, just at an upper weight class, and she uses that to her advantage. Strong, athletic, and she has pretty solid technique. And so, like I said, this was a match that was on my radar. I wanted to watch it. I got a great seat watching it, and it was fun. It really was to watch those two athletes compete against one another. And according to track, they're both sophomores, so we're going to see plenty more of them going on. And another thing I want to touch base on is things that I think we said about the boys last year, this year, as I'm realizing that as we're talking about these, is that the girls' tournaments are getting more competitive now.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're getting larger, and it's not clear who's going to win in some weight classes. I mean, so that's really great to see the growth and development of girls wrestling, because growth is important, but I'm also concerned, as for development, right?
Yeah, you want
Like,
you want the quality to get better as well.
exactly. Like, I love that we have all these participants, but I want them to be, I mean, this is what I've been preaching for years. I just want them to be regionally competitive first, and then we'll be nationally competitive. And so to see both happen in tandem is wonderful. And especially that the rate
Yes.
at where we're competing with states that have been having wrestling for far longer than we have. And that's dope,
Yeah, that's awesome.
and so anyway, I didn't want to go too far on that tangent, but just now that, like Rosales and Weinstein, Tania, and Elizabeth Townsend, Jayla, and Alasia, like big
Yeah,
matches.
yeah. Hannah Lindsay, Molander.
Yes, sir.
It's like those are that's what it's about right there, right? Is when you're getting finals matches that all the names are like popping off the charts. Like, oh wow, oh wow.
Mhm.
It's like because they've put in the body of work to get there, right? It's like you've went out there, you've earned it, and so now we respect it. If
Mhm.
that makes sense,
Yeah, 100%.
right? It's like you went out there and you showed us what you're about, and we respect it. And it's like that brings the excitement, right?
Mhm.
Because we know that hey, we're getting dedicated, skilled, hardworking wrestlers
Right.
that are only getting better. So it's like, okay, these were good this year.
Yeah, what's next year?
Can't wait. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's
Because
like
the vast majority of these girls are young, between
exactly.
seventh and 10th grade. Like we got, and then the next most common is a junior. So I mean, all these girls that we have, they're just, yeah, we got either 4 or 5 another year, whatever, for them to keep growing and developing. So this is very exciting. And I know every coach that I talk to, hey, we're all kind of getting on the same page right now. Some it took a little longer than others, but everyone understands that you need to find a club, and you need to, or find a place, and you need to be doing some off season work. And so at least a lot of folks say they're going to give it a try this year. So I'm very optimistic for just in general the state of Mississippi wrestling.
Absolutely.
But let's move on to 65.
All right. At 165 pounds, we had Prashna Tamang of Oxford. She's taking on Layla Gambrel of North Pontotoc, with Layla Gambrel being your state champion at 165 pounds. Okay, so Miss Gambrel was North Pontotoc savior this year. Well, they always come out with one.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know,
Yeah.
they all like North Pontoc's pretty consistent of each year. Getting them one
Mhm.
right, and so this year, it was Miss Gambrel, and man, she had a tall task ahead of her because Prashna had been wrestling really well. I thought Prashna was having a heck of a tournament. She was wrestling really really well, and and she was even controlling that match. Until she wasn't. You know, until she wasn't.
Yeah, this one hurt. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you people. This one was a bummer. And again, I think this is something that coaches can all relate to. Prashna has all the talent in the world, but we were struggling this year to meet that talent consistently. And again, it's just one of those like movie scripts where it's just like it's like here's the hero and they're going through adversity and they have these mental battles where crime and then all of a sudden it's the state tournament, everything's coming together. She's wrestling amazing, she wins her first round, she beats the number one seed, she's dominating the state finals, and whoa god, oh no. And so that one hurt so bad, but um it's one of those things. And again, hey, she wasn't the only one that happened to during the tournament, both girls and boys. And so I'll just tell the truth of the matter is like, hey, the way that these competitors competed, the way that Prashna competed, hey, you reached your potential just now.
Yeah,
You wrestled to the way that you're supposed to wrestle. You wrestled at a level that that's not just good for Mississippi, it's good for anywhere. That you showed that you have a lot of talent and ability and perseverance and consistency. And hey, it didn't go your way, but hey, that's life.
but hey,
Like
where were you at last year? Right?
that too.
It's like you made an objective. I mean, a subject.
No,
What am I
you got
saying?
it.
Object. Yeah, you made an objective improvement. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like clear, it's proven, right? And like I said, you're up in the match, but that goes to Gambrel, right? That goes back to what we were talking about. You cannot get comfortable with your lead. If
Yeah.
you got to wrestle the whole time, and she did. And as soon as that opportunity was there, as soon as she found something that she could work with, she took it to the house.
Yeah,
She took
man.
it to the house.
Oh, the other day I heard this saying where like there's no such thing as luck in wrestling, and they explained that you don't get lucky. Your opponent can make a mistake, but you have the ability to capitalize on that mistake. And so Prashna just made a mistake that people make, and Gamble capitalized on it. She took the moment. And, I mean, honestly, it reminded me of this NCAA finals match. It was Kilgore of Kent State against. Unfortunately, I don't remember his name from Oklahoma State, but I know he was an incredibly talented wrestler because he was whooping Kilgore's butt for a hot minute. It was complete driver's seat. He was going to cruise to a victory, but Kilgore pulled something out of the fire, got him in a tight pinning combination, got him to his back, got him.
That's it.
And that's all it takes. I remember Kilgore's name. I can't for the life of me remember the guy from Oklahoma State. And so it's one of those things where it's just like, you know what? You were winning and dominating and controlling, and then you weren't.
Yep.
And it hurts, it stings, but I told Prashna this, and I tell a lot of my kids and a lot of people who aren't my kids that your career is only over if you want it to be. If you've showed promise and if you have the want, take that hurt and give it another shot.
Yeah.
Move on to that next. Find something else you can be either get into grappling or try. Especially girls, there's so many opportunities for girls out there.
Oh, yeah.
Get yourself some money and go compete and see what you can do at that level.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's something Prashna can do, and I hope she considers it. And that equally applies to many many other girls and many 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 boys. I mean, just don't think that because you got second place or third place or whatever, or that you're from Mississippi, that you cannot or that you don't belong at that next level.
Well, yeah. I mean, the only person that can say whether you belong or not is you.
Yeah,
Right? It's like if you show up in a room, show up to compete.
exactly.
Right? Like prove that you belong. Like it don't matter what room it is. It don't matter where you came from, because everybody that showed up that day, they have to do the same thing. right? It's like it's not unique to you. Go out there and compete, no matter what it is. Like whatever steps you want to take in any direction in life, like whatever room you step in it to compete. You know, and that's the best advice I can give any of you. You know, for you, especially for you seniors, who this is it. It's like, look, it's it for high school wrestling. I
Right.
mean, like you still have a ton of life, a ton of grappling, a ton of whatever ahead of you. What situation do you want to put yourself in, and how bad do you want to compete for it?
Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised how far just the mentality of I'm going to show up and do the best I can will take you.
Yes.
I mean, and I know I've told this story on this podcast before, but I'm going to say it again for all of our newer listeners, perhaps, is like, I had a teammate who got third in the state of Arkansas during their like third year of existence. So not too dissimilar to where we are now, and he was in the smaller division. So third place really wasn't that great. Showed up to college. He went 1-21 his first season. People are getting in his ear like, was this a good idea? Like maybe you should think of other things. And he said, forget that. I'm gonna compete. I'm gonna be the best. And he went from 1-21 to winning records and qualifying for the national tournament. So it's like through sheer will, he made it happen. And so it's just like if you're feeling like, man, I feel regret, I feel like I can do more, I want this, I don't see why you can't at least have the conversation. And I know I harp on that drum a lot, but I just think it's something you need to hear over and over again because imposter syndrome is a horrible thing. Thinking that you don't deserve chances or opportunities sucks. And if no one's telling you, let this show tell you that, hey, I've been in college wrestling. I've been in that scene. I've seen it's tough. It's hard. There's a lot of talented kids out there. Hey, you might have some losing seasons, but if that's
But
something,
you're tough too.
yeah,
You got talent too.
yeah.
Like
if this is something you want, you can make it happen.
Exactly.
Anyway,
right.
Yet another tangent that going on.
It's all right.
But I think it's important.
Yeah.
I really think it's important.
Yeah, it's a good message, that I feel like any kid needs to hear, right? Any kid, and it, like I said, and it doesn't matter what you're doing, right? Whether you're, in the band or badminton, it doesn't matter. Like if that's what you want to do and that's where you want to be, well then go out there and compete.
Right? Yeah, these are universal principles.
Yes. Okay, it's gonna get us into the 185 pounds. We have now. Is this Leanne Denham? I don't want to mess it up. I don't know if it's Leah or Leanne Denham.
It's Leah.
Leah.
That's my guess.
Okay. Sorry.
My apologies.
From Oak Grove, and she was taking on Nari Jones of Oxford at 185 pounds, with Nari Jones being your 185-pound state champion.
All right. I feel like I want to talk a lot about Nari, so let me start from a different angle. Let me say the other girls who I thought were good. I want to give a shout out to Crowley from South Pontotoc.
Yes.
You're an absolute fighter, and I admire the energy you bring to your matches. You're always this describes many South Pontotoc girls, but you're one that always sticks out. That's like, oh, this girl's gonna, she's gonna brawl.
Yeah.
And that took you far. I mean, it took you to the consolation finals. So I really want to give her a shout out. And then Landry Roberts of Ocean Springs. You were a great competitor. You showed a lot of potential. You showed a lot of heart, and you fought through adversity in these matches, and you battled back for third place. So shout out to you. You've been a competitor that we've thought about and prepared for all season long, and you gave us some good battles. And so I just want to show you some love in what you accomplished this year. And then of course, this is now my bias showing. I gotta give a shout out to my non-point scorer, Nalani Harleston. I just want to show her some love because she deserves it. Again, coaches, everyone has that person on that team where it's like, they're behind a stud and they're not getting the time that they need, but they work so hard and they try and they give it what they got. And so she was one of those fillers this year where it's like, we wanted to give Nari a rest, she would step up and, hey, she beat some rank. Hey, she beat Crowley at one point in time of the season. Nice. So I mean, she had some big wins, and I don't know the specifics of other teams, but hey, I see a lot of double entries in these brackets, so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, I just want to give her some love. Now, on to the finals match. Let me hear your thoughts first.
All right. So at the beginning of the match, they had good strong tie up, but Nari just immediately started physically trying to get over on Denim, and Denim kind of started wilting to it a little bit. Is what it looked like, and that's whenever Nari ended up kind of running her out of bounds there, and Nari got called for the stall. And I remember sitting there watching through the camera right there, and Nari was locked in. She didn't walk back up to the line. She was ready to wrestle, and that's when the ref had got her attention and let her know that she got hit with the stall, and then that's when she kind of had that realization. She's like, I got called with the stall. Like, man, when she turned back and looked, I was like, oh my gosh, and she just did kind of what we've seen Nari Jones do for most of the season. She just kind of took over the dance, and she led the dance the rest of the way, and then got the fall over Denim, and man, I can't say enough good things about Nari Jones. Look, so this is I have some bias with Nari too. So my first time ever doing like a wrestling thing, anything, was at the last time we were at St. Andrews for the state tournament.
Yeah.
Right. Nari Jones lost, and I remember I just so happened to be walking back there to the where they have all the food, the hospitality room. I was walking back to the hospitality room, and I saw her mom, and her dad. And I mean, and she had lost to the girl from Starkville, right? And it was a really good match. It was a really good match, and she just got caught, and I could tell, like she was hurting by it, right? And so I stopped. I just said some words of encouragement to her, right? And then when I saw her last year come back, and just like she had that fire, and she remembered that too, and I was like, okay. And so like that's kind of been like her journey's been like one that I've kind of just wanted to watch, because like she was one of the first wrestlers that I met, and I was like, dang, man, kind of pulled on my feels, seeing like that was my first exposure to the heartbreak of wrestling, if that makes sense, right? Was Nari Jones. And so I was like, well, dang, man. And so to see her come back last year, have to go against her own teammate, in the state finals, and then come back and just in a different weight class, doing the same thing, dominance. Hey, I'm a big Nari Jones fan. I am.
Oh yeah, I mean this tournament run. Well, let me first start by saying that she's been wrestling very well all season, but she just took it into a different gear at this tournament. I mean, everything we've been working on, everything we've been practicing, she just like the kids say, that she locked into it. She executed everything perfectly, and she was very aggressive, good position, patient, taking your shots when it's appropriate, not panicking. It was again, just like you were talking about earlier with Osborne. It's a beautiful thing to see preparation in action.
Yeah.
And so which again speaks volumes to the next thing I was going to say, which is how coachable she has been. I mean, she bought into the system, she kept the faith, and I'm not going to go too deep into it, but she faced some adversity. The team faced a lot of adversity, and so that was one of two matches. Well, not one of two. Golly, there was many matches that brought tears to my eyes, but I was welling up a little bit. When she got that and she gets up, I was like, I did it. And it's like, oh my god,
yeah.
Like, that's why we do this. You know what I mean? Like, it's moments like that where all that work and all those emotions, and it just coalesces into the moment that you've been preparing for, right? But anyway, but to her opponent, I mean, I also want to give her props for winning the South State. I mean, with a lot of weight classes, the conversations, at least in the circles that I have my ears to the ground, was where it's like, oh, Roberts and Nari it's a given, and Denim had other plans. So she pulled out a win in the South State. She got herself that number one seed. She worked her way to the finals, and that again, just like we've been saying throughout the show, like that takes immense ability and talent. And she was a great competitor, and she was very sweet, very nice girl. And so, congratulations to her, and I hope she sticks with the sport, because clearly she does well in it. And so, shout out to that as well.
Yeah, and man, and that's something that doesn't surprise me, being, an Oak Grove wrestler. Like we had talked to Coach Lesdowski, and he was the first one to tell you it's like, man, hey, he loves coaching the girls, right? Like he gets the most out of them, and he brings a wealth of knowledge, and you can just see it, from the Addison Wilsons and the successful wrestlers that he's already had, the Ellie Townsends. It's like Oak Grove girls wrestlers. It's like, man, you better not count them out, any of them, right? Like if there's a fighting chance, like they're gonna be fighting, and so that it doesn't surprise me, that she's one of the ones that you know took it personal. Like, hey, oh, you don't believe in me? All right, I'm gonna go win South State, right? And then she made it all the way to the finals here. She just happened to run into a Nari Jones, who, like you said, is already at the one of the top wrestlers, but she'd caught another gear.
Yeah.
She was really really in the zone, and again, when you go best on best, man, like somebody's gonna get that silver medal. But man, congratulations, Nari Jones. Like that's one of the ones, like I said, like she introduced me to the heartbreak of wrestling, man. And so it's like I've been cheering for her since then. Like I want to see her do well, and I was really happy for her in that.
All right, let's round off with 235.
All right, we had Miss Chakaya Miller from Oak Grove take on Lanaya Ware of South Pontotoc, with Lanaya Ware being your 235-pound state champion. Man, I love, like, look, I'll start with Chakaya Miller. She's one of my favorite wrestlers to watch, right? Like, me and you, we've spoken about her on several of our podcasts, and I mean, she is just a beast out there, right? And I was nervous for Lanaya Ware. I was. Now, my bias is, like I said, South Pontotoc. That's where I went to school. And so I wanted, Lanaya to become that first girl state champion for South Pontotoc. And she did it, man. And I was really happy to see it, but I knew going up against a Chakaya Miller, it's like, man, you make one mistake, right? She'll get tight on your head, and she knows how to distribute her weight. Like she moves well, even on the mat, right? She's quick. She's got really good scrambles, and it's like you're gonna have to be disciplined, and you can't over pursue, right? You can't make a mistake against a Chakaya Miller, otherwise, like you're gonna be the one looking at the lights. And Lanaya Ware, she did a fantastic job of punching those underhooks, controlling Chakaya from being able to drop and use her natural level to her advantage. She's a little bit shorter than Lanaya. So it's like Lanaya was doing a good job of punching the underhooks, keeping her up, keeping her where she could wrestle her. And she worked and got the trip, and ended up on top. And Lanaya's another one. She's really good at, using her pressure, keeping you broke down, and getting you turned. And when she does, like she understands her body. Both of those girls, you don't see them getting too high. You'll see it a lot in some of these wrestlers, like when they get them down, like they'll want to run up on their feet and they start getting their butt in there, and now they're getting too high, and now they're getting rolled and stuff. Both of these girls understand, how to start in, center that weight, and then boom, adjust your pressure to what you want to work with, and maintain that control. And they both do a really good job at that. And so Lanaya Ware just so happened to be the one to capitalize on that.
No, it was a real clash of the Titans. I swear. I mean, just two forces going at each other, and it was a topsy-turvy for a little bit, but hey, Ware ended up on top. And what I like about, again, I feel like I'm just copy and pasting all the South Pontotoc girls, but she also carries those characteristics of just, I want to fight, I want to brawl, I'm here to win. And I think that really made her very successful this season, where not only is she a significant presence and a force on the mat, but she also has the mentality to like utilize those things.
And she has a great personality too. Like if you talk to her, like off the mat or whatever, she's such a sweet young lady. But I know like what she means for South Pontotoc, right? Like this is South Pontotic's second year having a girls team, and to have that kind of success, that's going to really help, in the involvement of sports. Because historically, one of the things that South Pontotoc has struggled with is the boys' involvement, right? But I said that at the beginning, whenever I said that last year. I was like, hey, look, the boys, until they start getting it, until they start getting the participation, I hate to say it, but they're kind of going to be irrelevant. They're not going to have the numbers, right? And you know that from you spend a little time down in SPVille, right? It's like, hey, you can have a state champion at heavyweight, but you're forfeiting 8 matches. Like you're never going to win a duel, right? Like I've got 5 wrestlers on this. You know what I mean? It's like that's what you're working with on that. But I said it then though. It's like, yeah, but when you get the girls involved, they're going to do really well. First year, they filled a roster. Second year, like they had multiple state placers, this tournament, and a state champion to go with it. And so it's like, man, that's huge for the growth of, wrestling in a school that honestly, man, they really didn't buy into it early. Yeah. It's like they kind of allowed it, but they didn't push it. They didn't encourage it. And they kind of held themselves back, by they really did, and again, going there, it's like I kind of understand the culture and I kind of understand, why they did it, and I don't think it was the right move, But now, with that girls' involvement, that's really boosting it, and I think that community's starting to change their look on it, right? Biggest problem is the singlets, right? Like that's the biggest thing. You know what I'm saying? It's still holding them back, y'all. I'm just gonna tell you that now. It's still holding them back, but it's like hopefully, hopefully some success will ease up on that. Yeah. We'll see. Well, hey man, that was it, man. That was the wrap on the girls, finals roundup. Like I said, overall, man, I thought it was really great tournament for the girls. I thought we saw improvement, in the field of wrestlers in general. Got some very, very quality finals matches, and man, I think it was exciting. What was your thoughts overall on it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically going to repeat what I said about the boys tournament last year, but now for the girls is we're finally seeing some parity in terms of like technique and ability. We're seeing more competitive brackets. We're seeing larger brackets. We're seeing that top 3 finish isn't guaranteed, and that actually a top 3 finish is pretty dang good. I know there's a lot of really talented girls that ended up in that 3rd and 4th place match. A lot of names that we've heard in years prior to, and that's wonderful. I mean, like I said, it seems like the fast forward button is on for Mississippi wrestling. The state is achieving things with hardly any resources, what took states, decades to accomplish. And that's a huge testament to kind of like the grassroots movement to build wrestling in the state. Like I said, it's abnormal to see this much competition so quickly and to see how it transfers elsewhere. Because I know, I know the top 3 teams on the girls' side, Ocean Springs, Oxford, and St. Martin, I know they compete very well against girls from other states.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, not only are we seeing large numbers of participation, not only are we seeing competitive state brackets, we're also seeing that success transfer and translate into other out-of-state arenas.
It's regional success.
And so those are all the things we started talking about at the very beginning of this episode of what constitutes, we want growth, but we want quality growth too, and we're seeing it. And the future of women's wrestling in Mississippi is so bright. It's so exciting to be a part of it.
Absolutely, man. Well, that's going to do it for our wrap-up of the girls' finals. As always, it's been a pleasure, Joe.
Of course, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you like, share, and hey, let us know what you think. Until next time, peace.